Hello and welcome to another RaceRoom video. It's one of my favourite tracks today, Hockenheim, but it's a brand new car, the Audi TT Cup, a class that I've never raced before in RaceRoom. I've done a bit of extra practice just to get familiar with it, and the early signs are encouraging. We've managed to qualify 6th on the grid with a lap time of 1:49.1. Now, we're only 0.3 of a second behind Pullinen in 3rd, so everything's set up for a really close race here, and if things go our way, we could be in with a shout of a podium finish. We've got an entry list of 18 cars this afternoon, and they're all lined up, waiting for the lights to go green, so without further ado, let's get down to the grid and see how we get on. Decent enough start there as the lights go green, but I never like being on the inside line into turn 1 at Hockenheim. It's really tight and there's a big sausage curb that you've got to try and avoid. It'll flip these Audis right over if you clip it, but we've got through okay. We've held on to 6th position, but there's a bit of contact in front to Haas. Got pushed onto the grass. I was worried he was going to lose it. I did just ease off the throttle slightly. I was worried he was going to come back across the racing line, and that's opened up a gap for Nace to go through. So we've dropped down to 7th, and we've picked up a slowdown penalty just by clipping that grass on the inside. We're surging down the parabolic now, and we've got the tight hairpin to come, so hopefully I'll be able to shake that slowdown in the hairpin. It looks like we've got another car having a sniff up the inside. Well, that's Manu Canal, and he's right alongside me, so we've got no choice but to give him a bit of space here. We have got rid of the slowdown, but we've just drifted a bit wide on exit, and now we've picked up another one. So we've surrendered 2 positions and we've picked up 2 slowdown penalties within the first half of this opening lap. We really need to settle down now. We can't afford any more mistakes or we're going to lose track with this front pack. The yellows came out briefly there, but that was for an instant behind. I just caught a glimpse of it in my rearview mirror, so we've lost a couple of cars behind by the looks of it, and that'll give us a bit of breathing room. The gap now is 1.5 seconds back to the driver in 9th, so we've got a bit of space behind us now, so let's concentrate on chasing Canal down here. Into the stadium section for the first time, and we're only 0.5 of a second behind Canal, so we're in a good position here. I want to try and get back around him as quickly as possible because I don't want that pack of 4 cars in front to start making a break for it. If we can get on the gas early and get our line right through that final turn, we might just have the speed to get alongside Canal here. I'm pushing it and I'm in his draft. We'll have a little look, but we're not quite close enough, so we're just going to have to sit back into turn 1 and hope that he runs wide. He does do, so that's surely going to be a slowdown penalty for Canal. Unfortunately, the time that he's gained by taking that wide line might work to his advantage. Even with the slowdown penalty, it looks like he's got a little bit of a gap on me now. We're pushing as hard as we can just to keep that gap to 0.5 second. But yeah, he's clearly got a better exit than me onto the parabolica because he's added another couple of tenths to that advantage. Even with the push to pass, we're not sticking with him here. We're approaching the hairpin for the second time, and the yellow flags are out, so we've lost one of the leading pack. I can see a car in the barrier on the left. It's Oliver Bitsmere. He was in 2nd, so we've gained 1 position back. We're up to 7th. Okay, let's take a breather from the frantic live action and check out a replay of the start. We got away reasonably well. Keep your eye on the green Audi on the inside, the number 7, that's me. Just trying to keep as tight a line as possible through T1 without hitting that sausage curb on the inside. We managed it. But then we see 2 cars in front collide, and look at the number 23, violently swerves over to the right. And as he rejoins the racing line, it did spook me a little bit. I just eased off the gas slightly, and that opened up a gap for Nace to get through. Then later in the lap, we saw the yellow flags come out for an instant behind me, and this was that instant. Eric Muhlenberg absolutely crunching the concrete wall on the inside there, just running it in a little bit hot into this left-hander. There's a bit of contact, it sends him into the wall, and a huge hit. And then on lap 2, we lost our 2nd place driver, Oliver Bitsmere. Look at him here, just completely missed the apex of that hairpin, and he's got nowhere to go except the barrier. Back to the live action now, and although we've lost a little bit of ground on the cars in front, the battle for 4th place is really heating up, so we're going to switch the TV cam on so we can keep half an eye on what's going on ahead of us. Nace in the yellow Audi has got that 4th position at the moment, but he's being hounded and harassed by Timo Pulinen in 5th, and Manu Canal is sticking with them too, so as long as these 3 guys do battle, it's going to give me a chance to get back with them, and it looks like Pullinen's having a look up the inside. Has Nace got the exit speed to hold the position, or is Pullinen going to have that inside line into T1? They're side by side as they cross the start-finish line. It looks like Pullinen's got the advantage into T1, but he's carried a bit too much speed. It's sent him a bit wide, so Nace is going to fight back up the inside. They're side by side again. Oh, things are going to get really tight into this section now. Nace is on the inside. There's a bit of contact. Canal has to get off the gas, and that brings us right into within striking distance now. It's going to be a 4-way battle for 4th place. Nace and Pullinen are still side by side as they charge down the Parabolica. Nace has still got that inside line though, so he's odds-on favourite to take the position into the hairpin, assuming that he can get on the brakes and hold the apex. It looks like he's got that 4th position back, but he's not been able to hold his line. He's running it way too hot. Runs wide, rejoins. There's contact with Canal, and now it's Nace and Canal that are side by side. Are either of them going to yield into this fast right-hander? It doesn't look like it, and there's more contact, and it looks like Canal is trying to run him out. That's not going to end well. Canal's going to miss his braking point. Nace is going to run into Pullinen, and all 3 of them are going to go out. We've managed to get past Canali, and now we're going to try and tuck it up the inside of Nace, but we know Nace isn't going to give up this position easily. We're still on the inside of him, but you know what? I think I'm just going to ease off and let him have that position. It's getting a bit fraught. It looked like the adrenaline was pumping for everyone and the aggression levels were increasing, so I just thought it was the wise choice to maybe ease back a little bit. Let's everyone take a deep breath and get back into a rhythm. Oh man, that was an intense lap and a half, but we've come through it unscathed. We're lying in 6th place and we're only 0.2 of a second behind Nace now. If we can just stick with him through these opening couple of corners, we might be in a position to strike down the Parabolica before the hairpin. It all depends on getting this turn 1 right, which we've done, and Nace is running a bit wide. We're carrying loads more speed out of that turn, so now's the chance to try and get alongside him. We've got the inside line for this right-hander. We just need to hold firm. There's a bit of contact, but we hug the tight line, and we've made the pass stick. We're up to 5th. Wow, let's check out a replay of that pass, and the foundations were laid in turn 1. That's probably the best I've taken turn 1 all race, and we got on the gas early. We carried loads more exit speed, and we were able to get alongside Nace. And as soon as we got in that position, I felt confident that we could make the pass stick. I knew there was going to be a bit of contact, but we managed to hold on. But I'm also keen to go back a lap and have a look at this incident between Canal and Nace, because it did look from my viewpoint like Canal was trying to run Nace off. We're on board with Canal, and there's just been a bit of contact out of the hairpin, and you can see how close these 2 guys are. They're side by side. We're on board with Nace now, but there's the contact. And watch Canal's steering wheel. It looks like he's trying to force Nace off to the left rather than rejoin the racing line, and then when he does, it's too late, and there's cars going everywhere. We're rejoining the live action with 6 minutes to go, so we're more than halfway through this race now, and as you can see from the leaderboard, Pullinen is just starting to open up a little bit of an advantage for the first time. It's more than 2 seconds. I'm struggling to stick with him, so I'm hoping desperately that he's going to make a mistake to let me back in. Oh, there's the mistake. Pullinen's running in way too hot. That's the mistake that I was hoping for, but is it enough for me to get back onto his tail? He managed to maintain a fair bit of speed despite running out wide. It's a tarmac runoff area, so he didn't get caught in any gravel, but we have gained. That gap was 2.5 seconds. It's down to 1 second now, so that's the chance that we need. Let's try and push and get on his tail. Well, we haven't been able to gain any time through the stadium section. I'm just having a quick glance at the relative board. It's still 1.1 seconds the advantage, so we're not quite close enough at the moment. As we head into T1, he clips that sausage curb and he was up on 2 wheels, so that's going to cost him more time, so surely now we're going to be able to get closer. Need to brake as hard and as late as I can here to close in, and we have done. It's down to 0.8 of a second. Get on the gas early, up to 4th as quickly as we can. Use the push to pass and try and get every mile per hour that we possibly can here. 0.7 of a second, so we're still not as close as I'd like to be. And once again, we're going to have to leave it as late as possible and brake as hard as we can to try and close that gap down. We don't want to run in too hot, we don't want to run wide, and we certainly don't want to pick up a slow down. And we've played it to perfection. We're right on Pullinen's tail now. We've wiped out that gap, 0.3 of a second. So for the first time in this race, we've got a real chance of 4th position here. We saw him make a couple of big mistakes on that last lap, so if we can get right into his rear view, we might be able to pressurise him into making another one. Oh, and look at that, he's sideways into the stadium section. That rear stepped out, he almost lost it. That's given us a chance to get up alongside him, but we're on the outside, there's no way around there. Maybe we could try a switch back. No, there's no room on the inside either, but we're right on his tail now coming through the stadium section. He's going to be feeling the pressure. These final 2 turns at Hockenheim can really punish you if you don't get your line exactly right. So we've got to try and get everything as smooth as possible and get on the gas. Down the start-finish straight, we're within half a second of him. He's just opened up a couple of tenths. Got to get turn 1 right. We have done, but unfortunately so has Pullinen. So have we missed our best opportunity to get around him, because that gap has just opened up a bit, but we can brake later than him again, and that closes the gap right in. We're right on his rear bumper now again, and can we get into his draft? We'll get the push to pass on as quickly as we can, and we've definitely got more speed than him, so we might be able to make a move up the inside into the hairpin. Will we have the pace when we come out of the draft to get alongside him? No, it doesn't look like we have, so I might abandon that idea and instead try and take a late apex and cut up the inside in the hope that he runs wide, which he has done, and as he rejoins there's more contact. That was another big hit. We've managed to hold our line. We've got the inside line and our nose is just ahead of him now. We're not going to back off, but I'm not sure that we're quite far enough ahead to take the defensive line safely, so I'm going to have to stick on the racing line. He's going to dive up the inside. We're going to try and fight back, but now we're on the outside. There's no way around there. Can we cut back and stick it up the inside as we approach the stadium section again? It doesn't look like we can. Pullinen has done it. He's held off my attack. I threw everything I could at him there, but Pullinen's managed to hold firm and keep that 4th position. Well, we're going to have to keep pushing and keep fighting and try and do it all again on the next lap. Oh, but that's a little bit of a mistake there. We just ran it in a bit too hot into that penultimate corner. Lost a bit of grip. The car started to slide and we've lost some valuable time now. Okay, another opportunity for a breather, and we can take a look back at the replay to see how that incredible battle came about. First, we saw Pullinen run wide there, and that was his 2.5 second lead wiped out. I managed to get closer, and on the next lap, just as we enter the stadium section, look at him lose that rear. He was sideways into that corner, but he managed to hold it. I had a look around the outside. He had the defensive line, so that was the only place I could look. It didn't work, but then a better opportunity came at the hairpin. I took as late an apex as I could to try and get on the gas early. There was a bit of contact, but it didn't affect either of us. We're side by side. I've just got the advantage here, and look, I can just get a car length in front, and this is where I should have defended. If I just stayed on that tighter line, I would have blocked off the opportunity for him to get back in front, but I didn't, and that's what cost me the position. We're rejoining the live action now with 1 lap to go. We're currently working our way through the stadium section for the penultimate time. As you can see from the leaderboard, Pullinen's opened up a 0.9 of a second advantage. So I'm just hoping now that he's got one more mistake left in him that will give me a chance to have one more go at taking that 4th position. We're crossing the line now to start the last lap. We've already seen Pullinen run a little bit wide out of one of the corners in the stadium section, and we also saw him kick up a bit of dust on that final turn. So have we got enough speed and momentum left to pressurise him into one more blunder. Oh, that gap's up to a second now. It's not looking good on this last lap. Pullinan is beginning to open up a bit more of an advantage. I'm nowhere near close enough here, so all we can do is hope that he might run into this hairpin a little bit too hot and run wide on exit. We've seen him do it before, so he might do it again, but in actual fact it looks like he's braking very cautiously this time. It has allowed us to close in. Oh, but we've just run wide on exit ourselves, and that's given us a slow down penalty. That might be it. We'll see if we can just give it a bit of extra brake around here and try and shift that slowdown penalty early, but it doesn't look like we were able to, and we've got no choice but to get back on the gas now because we are right with Pullinan. It's only 0.3 of a second, but how can we get rid of this slowdown? Can we do it here on this right-hander into the stadium section? No, it's still there. We'll surely be able to shift it into this left-hander. Let's just take it a little bit easy before we get on the gas. And we've still not got rid of it, but we're right behind Pullinan now, and we do have to ease off the gas because we got too close. That's shifted the slowdown penalty, so we've got one chance to go for it here. It needs to be a good exit out of the final turn. We need the draft, we need another push to pass, we need everything that we've got, but we're just not close enough to get the position across the line. So that was one intense introduction to the Audi TT Cup. It was an absolute barnstormer of a race, and I am exhausted after that one. And as you can see from the classified results, we got a 5th position. I'm delighted with that. And I'm really encouraged to see that I'm only 2.1 seconds off a podium position. It was also a good enough finish to give my RaceRoom rating another little boost. It was only +3 this time, but building on the success that I had in the GT4 class at Zandvoort the other day, we're now up to 1662. So yeah, I really enjoyed racing in that one, and I hope you enjoyed watching it. If you did, please do leave a like and consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't done already. I really do appreciate every view, like and follow, and I'll look forward to hearing from you guys. Take care and enjoy your racing. Cheers for now.